What's up, everybody? Andrew here with Astro Trends, bringing you your Bitcoin update. If you're new to the channel, what we do is combine astrological forecasting with traditional trend analysis to speculate on price movements in crypto and stock markets. So let's jump into Bitcoin here. We had a big dip the last day or so. Found support at 34.7, 35.3, and those are holding up for now. Heading into the weekend here, we've got less volume. Usually not a whole lot of movement on the weekends, except Sundays have been pretty good lately. So maybe tomorrow we might see, if we're going to see this support hold. Could be tomorrow. It's looking like we might be moving sideways here for a while. Zooming in on the 15-minute chart here. I was thinking we'd see a retest of these moving averages sooner, this morning maybe. We pushed up to the 20 here. I thought we might push up and bounce off the 50. We did get above the 9 and 20 though. Or what is this, this is the 200 up here? This is the 15-minute chart, so not a big deal, but it does look like we're holding these supports for now. It looks like maybe what we'll see is these moving averages close in and force the price up or down. It looks like this would probably happen by late tonight Eastern Standard Time, around 11 o'clock, anywhere from 10 to probably 2 a.m. If the price keeps going sideways like this. And at that point we would see it move up or down. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw another retest. Let's zoom out here and take a look at what I have drawn here. So we've seen a lot of different triangle patterns and different drawings to try to figure out what's going on with this trend here. I think the most common one you see lately is just kind of treating the movement like a channel, which it basically is. It's definitely a channel. Though back around this time, I think most people were looking at it like a symmetrical triangle, and around the 5th to the 7th, it looked like we had broken to the downside after being rejected up here. That's also when we got that Musk tweet on the 3rd. But people were also speculating that we might see like a slingshot effect, and that did kind of happen. We touched around 31 again, as we did back here. Pushed all the way back up to 41. A lot of people were thinking we'd go a little higher, 45. It's just kind of all over the place at this point, whether we're breaking to the upside or the downside. But I did notice that you could also draw this larger triangle in, almost symmetrical, a little bit of a downward triangle. But this touches some lines all the way back here in April pretty nicely. So it's a decent line to draw in there, decent trend line. And on the 3rd, it looks like we tried to push above it. Back here on the 10th, we were riding along the resistance there. So I think this is a pretty legit pattern that's playing out, and it also makes the retest. Most people are looking at this like looking at this action here like we'd fallen through the upper trend line of the channel. So we had lost that support that we broke through, or the resistance we didn't retest as support. But if we're looking at it this way, it actually looks like we're getting a pretty healthy retest on this this breakout here from this triangle. And if it does play out accordingly, we could expect around a 48, maybe 40, 46. Yeah, somewhere 46 to 48K Bitcoin. So let's draw a horizontal in here and take a look at the day chart. Got a lot of drawings on here. Actually, let's move to this chart. It's a little easier to see. Let's say around 47.6, 47.8. It would make sense to move up here. We've got a good bit of resistance over here. yeah, we get, yeah, a lot of resistance here. So if we did move to the upside, that would be a considerable distance above the 50 and even the 200 moving average. It does make sense though if we were able to burst through them, that we would probably see be a lot of momentum breaking through them. So we could see it go as high as 47. We could definitely see that playing out. Come to think of it, some people were also speculating that there's maybe a big head and shoulders here. It's pretty messy if it is a head and shoulders. Could be though. The price came up to here. Let's see. This is very sloppy, but something like this. And then we might expect, let's see what this gives us. It's the same target, so it's interesting. It's the same target we get from this, if we draw in this triangle pattern. It's 47, so multiple indicators. It makes sense. It makes sense if we break through the moving averages that it would move up that far. It makes sense that this is a area of high resistance. So I think there's a pretty good likelihood we'll see a 47K Bitcoin sometime soon. If it doesn't play out here, if we fall lower, if this triangle pattern doesn't play out or this support doesn't hold, maybe we'll fall down here. I could easily see us bouncing off of the 31 range support. I think we've hit that like 3 times now. There's always a chance we can move further to the downside, but there's just so many people just all in on a 28K, 25K Bitcoin that it seems unlikely that it'll reach that low so soon. I'm not saying we're not headed there eventually, but I don't think we're going to see that in the next couple of weeks, though it's possible. I think this is the most likely scenario though in the short term. Though I wouldn't be surprised to see some downside, maybe back down to 31, or maybe even we'll touch the 28 or get near to 28 before moving back up to test this 47, or to test these moving averages and perhaps push through to the 47. There's also the death cross. Everybody's talking, even the mainstream media is talking about the death cross. But what you saw, or what you've seen on previous bear markets and previous death crosses, is they're actually usually accompanied by a pretty significant pump, like even well like through the death cross and beyond. So it's consistent. Something like this expectation is consistent with a lot of indicators and a lot of expectations. Let's look at the astrology and see what we can make of it in the short term and maybe the long term as well. So see if we can get an hypothesis for how this is going to play out, whether we'll break up or down. This is, drop a vertical in. This is really ballpark. I'll just drop it right here. So that's for today at 10 o'clock. So we'll say 12 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, June 20th. Here we are right now. Moon's got a trine to Neptune. That can be nice, but the trines aren't that powerful in financial astrology. The next contact we're going to be making is the next significant is a sextile to Pluto and Mars. Just before that, a square to Jupiter and a trine to Venus. That's a nice combination. I do expect to see, just on a small time frame, some upward movement from that. So that'll start to go active right around 12 a.m. So I think the most likely price action scenario we get here is we go sideways as these moving averages, as the 200 comes down, and if we keep going sideways, these are all bunched up. I think we may get a break out to the upside. And our target we would be looking for then. Going into tomorrow. Some more sextiles. And at this point, as we get into Monday, the Sun is going to be opposing Pluto and Mars. A lot of times this aspect, though, when planets come around here and make an aspect to Pluto and Mars, you don't really see the down, because it's a negative bearish pattern or bearish indicator. You don't see it play out until it gets past Pluto and starts to make the opposition to Mars. So once it gets between these two, this is like a little prison cell, little trap for planets, whether it's conjunct, square, opposition, you get stuck in between them, and that's where you see the lowest price action, and then you see it start to relent after it starts to separate from Mars. So maybe I think the best indication we're getting from the astrology and the trend analysis combined is you may see some minor upside and then some downside. I don't know if that would be a retest. It's hard to tell from this point, but I think in the short term, the next day or two, I think these supports will hold. We'll see how high we get before that Sun opposition comes into effect. As you saw in the previous update, Venus starts to move into this opposition with Jupiter, and that's going to be a bullish sign. So I'm thinking in the short term, we get some upside. We'll see how far up we can get. But by Monday, probably a pullback, and maybe a pretty extreme pullback, maybe back down to 30, 31, and then another, as we've seen from that 31 range. The past couple weeks, a big upside again, maybe back up to these levels. Maybe we'll see that 47 at that point. If not, it's hard to imagine a 47K Bitcoin just going off of the bullish signals tomorrow. This is a Sunday. We did pump pretty big here last Sunday, but that'd be like 3 times. Let's see. So 20% pump. That was 9% in one day, and then another 5 or 6 for 15% Sunday-Monday combination. So that's possible. Not financial advice. If you found this video helpful, like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more Bitcoin updates.